It's a pleasure to be with you to share some of our experiences of implementing an e-portfolio through PebblePad in our midwifery courses at Curtin University. I'd like to start by introducing you to the team who are involved in developing and implementing the original iteration of our e-portfolio. On the left, we have Dr. Leslie Kalukas, who is the course coordinator for the Bachelor of Science in Midwifery, Pauline Costins, who is the course coordinator for the Graduate Diploma in Midwifery, Brooke Thompson, a midwifery academic currently on maternity leave, and myself, I'm also a midwifery academic within the team. So we have two midwifery courses at Curtin University. The first one is a Bachelor of Science in Midwifery, which is a 3-year midwifery degree. And the second is a Graduate Diploma in Midwifery, which is an 18-month course preparing registered nurses to become midwives. Regardless of which course students are enrolled in, they are expected to complete the same amount of clinical experience requirements. So midwifery courses in Australia are accredited through the national accrediting body ANMAC, who are commissioned by the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Australia. So graduates who have met competency as set by the Nursing and Midwifery Board and ANMAC are able to seek registration through AHPRA. ANMAC, as our accrediting body, require that students complete over 300 clinical cares throughout their course, so more than 100 pregnancy cares, 100 postnatal cares, 30 births, and lots of other clinical experiences. As well, students need to be able to evidence critical reflective thinking and also have the capacity to record a clinical time spent where they have been in practice. So on the left are the blue lever arch files that our e-portfolio has replaced. It was typical for students to have 2 full A4 lever arch files by the end of their course, and for our rural students, they'd send these in by post once a semester for review and feedback. So it's quite backbreaking work for us to cart these around, coupled with the anxiety of potentially losing a student's work. We had a really good scaffold though, and we knew that we would be able to reproduce some pages just from our paper-based portfolio, but we wanted to think clever and work out how we could build some learning analytics into our e-portfolio, and we've managed to do that. We decided for us that it was a no pilots approach. We were just going to jump straight in. So we did that. On the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of February last year, we underwent our training for PebblePad, and then on the 29th of February, we went live with our e-portfolio product. So we worked really, really hard in the 3 weeks leading up to that to develop and test our e-portfolio, and we went live with our courses. And essentially what we ended up with was a series of workbooks and blogs nested within a workbook. For those of you that speak Pebble, that will make sense. But what students have is they're able to really easily, at a glance, click on a workbook, and down from there cascades tabs where we can see students' progress quite clearly. So here we can see a student who has completed 95 of a total 100 pregnancy cares. She's completed 21 births, 10 vaginal examinations, and students are also required to follow 10 women throughout their course, and the collection pages keep all of the information for each individual woman together. In addition to that, there's clinical time recorded and also reflections. So our courses underwent ANMAC accreditation, and our accrediting body was quite complimentary about our e-portfolio. Had some really good feedback about how we were blazing a trail, as it were, for the e-space for online portfolios. There were some challenges, of course, for the implementation of an e-portfolio. Anything new always has that. And initially it was for us learning to speak Pebble, how to differentiate what's a workbook, what's a collection, what's a blog, how does that differ from assets and resources. But we eventually worked around that, particularly as we spent so much time with it up front. Another challenge for us is that still to this date we have no local IT support. And so there was a positive and negative to that. Because we spent so much time in development, we're really aware of what the e-portfolio is capable of doing. So in terms of suggestions for refinements, we're able to say whether it will or won't work. We are also the go-to, the initial go-to for students if they have any problems. The downside of that, of course, is the time. And so we have invested an extraordinary amount of time of our own personal time in there. There has been, to this date, no workload allocation for either PebblePad support or for the development of the portfolio or for ongoing maintenance of it. So that's a commitment that we've made, and we are really proud of what we've developed. We recognise that we don't work alone, and indeed that we work really closely with our clinical partners. Hospitals aren't known to be environments that are, that like rapid change, but I have to say we're really, really impressed with the engagement of our clinical partners in the way that they have supported us and our students in the implementation of e-portfolios into the clinical environment. There are so many advantages for us to have an e-portfolio, but if I could give you one example, our students are prepared as far north as Kununurra and as far south as Esperance, and they are thousands of kilometres apart. We can log on to a student's e-portfolio at any time and give really good feedback. That's seen increased student engagement and output. Certainly from a summative point of view, summative assessment point of view, end of semester marking has been reduced and perhaps more smoothed out throughout the semester because we're able to engage with students' e-portfolios so regularly throughout the semester, and so that has reduced the end of semester load. Our students have also been really excited to engage in the opportunities to teach each other. So we have a mentorship program where senior students can mentor junior students, and we also have senior students coming to co-present workshops with us for our e-portfolio workshops, and that's a really authentic way to integrate learning and development and leadership into our courses. I mentioned earlier that we had built in some learning analytics, and we're still working out ways that we can report on that, but we're looking at student confidence level and preferred learning style for particularly tricky midwifery clinical skills, and we hope to be able to bring you some of that data in the near future. Moving forward, how we would like to use the portfolio in our courses is for the development of a professional portfolio. So currently students have to have this in order to evidence competency standards, but for students to be able to take their alumni account out into the big wide world and to continue to add to it in their professional lives is the plan for us. So thank you. That is our Petra Kutcher on our e-portfolio.